What is the Cathedral of All Saints, Big Ben, the Field Museum, Philadelphia City Hall, the New York Public Library, and the Emmanuel Church in LaGrange, Illinois, all have in common? It's a massive issue for them, and that is that they do not have the original blueprints, proving that they actually constructed these structures, and when they say they did. And we have exposed this right here on this channel. We know that their narratives are all the same, which I believe are all generated by the AI. There's never an author to any of these mainstream stories. It doesn't even matter which country the building is in. They're all the same. They're all constructed in a year. And then there's a mysterious fire that burned down the original one. And it's replaced by a guy that has zero training, and then he never builds anything ever again in his entire life. And they don't have the blueprints, even though these buildings were publicly funded, we are told. Paid for by the taxpayer, yet they say only the staff can see them. To this point, we have not received a single blueprint, and we have changed archivists' minds as to how they should look at their job moving forward. This is no longer a theory. Within the last 10 episodes, we have taken this research to a whole new level of exposure. A full audit is taking place live for everybody in the world to see. They're caught off guard. They want to know which institution we work for. They don't like this because the story that they have worked so hard for years to believe is being dismantled in seconds by the people that want the truth. All of us. We want the blueprints. We want the ledgers. We want to know how much water the donkeys were drinking while hauling thousands of pounds of stone to the site. We want to know which store were they buying all their chisels from. We want the records. We want the verification to their stupid story. And the FOIA requests are a brand new weapon for us. We are forcing governments to respond legally, and to this point they are failing horribly. The timeline that we all live in is completely fake, and we are just getting started. When we have contacted the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA.gov, we want the blueprints to the Federal Hall in New York City. So I formally requested the original construction documentation for the Federal Hall, or the U.S. Custom House, that was supposedly completed in 1842 under the U.S. Treasury Department. I want to know if the National Archives holds or has ever held any of the following materials related to its design or construction. We want the original blueprints or engineering drawings, specifications, ledgers, inspection reports, and the rest. I also put in there because we all know the rules now, and we're cornering them very quickly. As this building was a federally commissioned project under the Treasury Department, its documentation would have been required for preservation, all under the record-keeping laws active at that time. And I finished it off saying that I look forward to your response. And this is when NARA replied back to us. We searched the cartographic branch's architecture master list, and unfortunately did not find any records that appear to be responsive to your request. A master list from the National Archives? I want this list. They found 3 drawings from the U.S. Custom House in New York City. However, these are dated 1905, which is 63 years after the thing was done. So we all know that those don't count at all. We did not locate any other reference to the U.S. Custom House in New York City during our search. And then giving us something massive, saying that they have attached this finding aid for all of our reference. Do they know who they just gave the master list to? I have to say, I don't think that that was a good idea for the mainstream narrative. The master list is a part of the cartographic branch at Nara College Park. Now let's be clear. This is the federal government's internal master index of all architectural records held by the National Archive. This includes all of the following structures. If a federally funded building ever had blueprints, they would be cataloged in this master list. This is huge. The master list includes every single federated architectural record that was created by, submitted to, transferred to, or preserved by any federal agency. If the federal government commissioned a building, paid for a building, inspected a building, or even maintained a building, then under federal law, the architectural records need to be preserved, and they would be within this master list. And they have admitted to us that the federal hall has zero documentation inside this master list, meaning that the federal government is implicitly admitting that they have zero verifiable proof that they ever constructed the structure in 1842, or at any point for that matter. And we are just getting started, because I want to take a look through this master list. And I also want to know, where is NARA located? Welcome to episode 159 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. Get 10% off all W products right now by using code MLB. I'll put the link in the description below. This is clean energy, no sugar, no artificial flavors, no jitters, and no crash. There's over 15 awesome flavors to choose from, and every purchase helps this channel. That's code MLB for 10% off right now. I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. I'll put the link right in the description. And you can use my referral code, MLB. If you click the Tartaria button, you'll see the My Lunch Break playlist right here. The app is awesome. Thank you to Rebecca K, Chuck Templeton, Joy Lee, Stephanie Nolan, the Burlesons, Charles Kruger, Dan Woodall, Dale, DJ Clicktrack, Jacob Law, Jim Ribley and Christine Duggan, Kyle Glasscock, BKTFnews.org, Ben Dries NL, Natalie Shippenoff, Melissa Edgar, Biggles, Double Task Homestead, John Adams, Attila Power, Forbidden Gecko Love, Justin Grobner Grubb, Leah Strong, Dakota Dunn, Jason Hochberg, Marie C., Michael Dingyu, Patriot Armory, C3SCOB, SoniaDane.com, James Alt, Jason Prest, Miggs, Mark Chapman, Ariana Oates, Nathan Burbuck, Ski, Beacon of Truth, Liberty's Arborist, Thomas Thorpe Peterson, Zinger Coffee and Tea, Emily Maryland, Curious Cat, Mike D, etc., Dan McGee, Lori Hedvig Johnson, Ellie Annie, Seth Craigo, Glenn Gunderson, Mousie's Mouse Cheese Records, Robert's Brain is Gone, Extreme Reality Check, Late for Dinner, Eolo Goncalves, Blake, Dax Bilchek and Son, Dylan Hugenberg, Robert Petro, Katz Hill, Susie Q, Yark 143, GOL, Doc Halo, Kenneth Putt, Brenna Fernandez, Paraduction, Necrodemonics, A&W Kerrigan, Rod Wah, Sweetest of Peas, Road Warrior, Bruce Latour, Codren, Devin Apocalypse, Ardra Rogers, Brazawayan, Armin Walker, Ivan Apocalypse, Maybell, Laurel L. Burnett, Hoppy John, John and Carlo, Bill, Vince Moreno, Flat Earth Herb, Sven Eric, Tom O'Hara, Ducks MDF TFV, Jeremy and Amy, The Arnolds, Digital Strategy, Earth Daughter, E. Hamur, Harvey, First Class Forklift, Radford's Donkey Wagon Deluxe, or Neho, Just Like That, Backyard Rob, DevlinMcGregor.com, D. Woods, Sherry Frost, Lynn Thielen, F.E. Patriot, Corbin Mechanical, Valhalla Stars, Kent Baki, Breaking Bigfoot, Gabriel Spark, Ty, David and Sherry Ferguson, Rebecca Klung, Tim Skin, ValleyMedicinals.com, The Lady Lacey Show, David Torres, Lucy, Tibba Shaba in the Darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. NARA, or the National Archives. This individual emailing me, telling all of us that they have zero records of the building's construction, and unfortunately did not find any records, blueprints, ledgers, and the rest that appear to be responsive to our request. Again, this was not built thousands of years ago. 1776, the USA was formed supposedly. This is 1842. 66 years after that. This is shocking. Where is the verification that their story about 1842 is actually true? Where are the receipts? How is this even close to acceptable? And we're not talking about a random house. This is literally NARA, the institution that is responsible for preserving all federal construction records, documenting national history, safeguarding the supposed truth, maintaining all official blueprints, and enforcing record-keeping laws. They're cornered right now. And again, I want to say this very quickly. I want to thank these individuals that respond to us. They are incredible people, and they're on our team, whether they even know it or not. Now, I want to see this master list. We can see that it shows us the date of construction, the city, and the building's name. We scroll over here, and we can see exactly which box it's located in, the folder and the rest. So we type in the search, custom house, and we can see that there's 170 of them inside this master file. So let's scroll down and find the one in New York City to confirm what this individual is telling us. And as you can see, as we keep scrolling, we're going to be able to pin these institutions down, telling them that there are 0 documents regarding their building inside the master list, right out of the gate. And here it is. Confirmation, the U.S. Custom House, New York City. The only documents that they have, 3 of them from 1905, exactly like they said. A consolidated file with no location. So do they even have these 3 pages from 1905? And then I had a crazy idea. An idea that I should maybe type in the U.S. Capitol building. What files do the federal government have on this palace that was supposedly constructed without a power tool in just 7 years? From 1793 to 1800, the beginning of our timeline, in my opinion. So why is it, when I type in the U.S. Capitol building into the master list, why is it that the only construction documents that the federal government has on their own structure is from 1935? 135 years after it was supposedly constructed. A consolidated file with 10 pages of documents. They're sketches. There are no records. A moment that everybody in the world right now watching is going to see that the mainstream history is exposed. This is a horrible mistake, I'm going to be honest with you, to give me this master list. I cannot believe we have this. We no longer need them to confirm anything. We have their log. We have their records, and we know what they don't have. The nation's capital. Its blueprints from the 1793 to 1800s construction project. Those blueprints, the ledgers, they're gone. I told you we were just getting started. Now let's take a minute and thank the Donkeys Incorporated Club. I'm gonna have to have a meeting with all of you. We need to discuss how you were able to construct these palaces so fast, without a single blueprint and without a power tool. I appreciate all of you, and thank you to all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. Let me know if you want the master list. I'll try to put it on a USB and put it on our eBay page. Let me know if you'd want it. We are on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on X, Instagram, TikTok, BitChute, and Spotify, if you're looking for even more content from us. We now have confirmation, which I don't believe has ever been shown to the public before this moment, that the only federal architectural records that the National Archives holds for the United States Capitol building are from 1935, 142 years after the project supposedly began. Not only that, but it says that these 10 pages are just sketches from 1935, which are not architectural drawings. They're not engineering drawings, and they're 100% not construction records. Sketches are non-technical, informal, and completely unrelated to original construction. And any architect, any builder will know this, and they will tell you this. On top of this, 10 pages. This is not even close to the amount of pages that they would have needed to plan out the construction of the United States Capitol building. I need to hear your comments at this point. What are we all thinking? I want to know your thoughts on this. We get a few sketches made 142 years after the construction began for the U.S. Capitol building. We have the master list. It's the ultimate internal receipt, and the receipt's empty. And this is exactly what we have been saying for months, years. They faked the story. I cannot believe that they wouldn't just fake the blueprints. An American, neoclassic style palace, built in the 1700s. Who believes this story now? Going on Wikipedia, they give us this, William Thornton's Capitol winning design. So he was competing against all the other palace drawing legends in the horse and wagon era. The problem is, this is not a blueprint. It's not an engineering drawing. It's not a construction document. It's also not a structural load-bearing or technical drawing in any way. It is a facade sketch, which any of us could have just drawn last night. And they thought they were gonna fool us all with this. Their story is done. And we've proven that they don't have a single page inside their master list from this supposed reconstruction project. After everything that we've seen, in my opinion, I believe they found this building. It was there before 1793. And they don't have a single blueprint because the previous civilization, they constructed this building. And we have now documented our 7th structure that have a documented email chain from an institution telling all of us that they don't have the blueprints. I'm not going to count the U.S. Capitol building in this yet, but I'd like to hear them say it. So I've sent that email to NARA, and we're going to see if they respond to make the count 8. So we have 7 palaces that look so out of place. And the mainstream history is 7 for 7 so far, at proving that we are correct, holding zero documentation that their story is actually true. And I have a feeling that it's not just the U.S. Capitol building. I have a feeling that every single Capitol building in the USA, the state Capitol buildings, they're not going to be able to provide a blueprint either. Ledgers, load-bearing calculations, inspections from the 1800s and the rest. Again, we just want the truth. Their stories are completely done. We were all tested in those classrooms for years. We wasted so many hours of our lives studying these ridiculous narratives that have zero evidence. I want them to expose themselves to all of us, and I want them to admit they lied. I want to shock the world. I want to show them that we have been correct all along. And if the United States has a master list like this, I guarantee you England does. I bet you Australia does too. I would take a guess that the rest of the world does. I want to update you all on the New York Public Library. We covered this structure in episode 157, and I kept at them because they told us that only the staff was allowed to see the blueprints, which is a complete lie in my opinion. I don't believe they're allowed to see them either, because we all know that they don't have them. They said that they exist, but due to them being fragile, they don't let researchers see them. And then later told us that the originals are only available to the New York Public Library's staff. No building plans are shared with external researchers, including scholars. And today, they just told us that they are not available to the public because they're not processed or conserved yet. A complete contradiction to what they said to us earlier. And they look ridiculous trying to lie to us. And then down here, saying, you mentioned working on documentation. We would be grateful to receive a copy of your report or other research outcomes, which made me laugh really hard. They want my documentation and won't give us theirs. I normally say thank you to these people. This individual is a complete liar in my opinion and won't give us the documentation, proving that their stupid construction story actually took place when they say it did. And then wants our research project. New York Public Library, you can wait for the episode to come out. I replied back to them saying this. Since the original construction blueprints and engineering drawings for the New York Public Library are not available to researchers, then I won't be able to share my report in return. I'm not in a position to provide material when the records are not being provided to me. If you change your mind and the originals ever show up, we can revisit this. I have a ton of respect for all the other institutions. They are not hiding that they do not have the blueprints. They're actively trying to help us in finding them. But the New York Public Library, on the other hand, is clearly lying and contradicting themselves. First, the staff is the only ones that get to see it. Then they're too fragile. Now they're just not processed yet. What in the world does the New York Public Library actually do? The building has been there for 130 years. How much time do they need to process the blueprints? It is completely embarrassing, and it's a lie, in my opinion, of course. You are always free to think whatever you'd like, but at this point, it's pretty clear that they are hiding the fact that they don't have the construction records, and they are exposed. And I would suggest they stop emailing me, because they keep digging a bigger and bigger hole for everybody to see.